For staying with us. 2 months ago, a team of the Enforcement Directorate and a central armed paramilitary force personnel were attacked in Sandesh Khali in West Bengal. The ED team was attacked as it started a raid at Trinamool Congress leader Shahjahan Sheikh's residence. This was in connection with an alleged ration distribution scam. Their vehicles were vandalized. 2 public servants were left bleeding from their head. Allegations were that Sheikh Shahjahan orchestrated the attack led by the locals so he could evade the law. He was in fact missing for 55 days after that, before he was arrested. The Enforcement Directorate had accused the state police of diluting these charges that were pressed against the accused, which is Shahjahan Sheikh in this case. Sections dealing with charges such as attempt to murder, voluntarily causing grievous hurt to deter public servant and dacoity were dropped from the FIRs, what the ED said, an allegation that found mention in the Calcutta High Court as well. That, coupled with the conduct of the police over the last 2 months, prompted the court then its wisdom to transfer the investigation out of the state and to the CBI. Now, both the Enforcement Directorate and the West Bengal government moved 2 separate appeals challenging a single bench order on January 17th that ordered a formation of the SIT of both the CBI and of the state police to probe this jointly. While the Enforcement Directorate wanted the probe to be completely shifted out and transferred to the CBI, the state prayed that it stays with the state police. Several arguments were made in court, but the state's defense didn't seem to find any merit. So let's take a look at what the arguments were. The ED said that there were serious reservations against the state police and their conduct, to which the state government argued that the state government has acted and now arrested Sheikh Shahjahan, which happened only 55 days later. The ED alleged that the police were colluding with the absconding accused in this case, which is Sheikh Shahjahan. The TMC government said that the police was working without any bias and they were acting as swiftly as possible. The West Bengal police shielding Sheikh Shahjahan was the allegation that was made by the ED in court. To which the state simply responded that we couldn't arrest him because there was a stay order as far as Shahjahan Sheikh and any action against him is concerned. Now today the Calcutta High Court said nothing doing. There seems to be a bias that comes to the fore as far as this case goes, which is why it's the perfect case to be shifted out and given to the CBI. The 19-page order has some scathing observation against the state government, against the police machinery. As directed by a division bench presided by the Chief Justice of the state, both the case documents and Sheikh Shahjahan have now been handed over to the CBI. West Bengal government has now moved the Supreme Court as well against this particular order. But in the light of the observations that were made, the TMC does find itself in a somewhat uncomfortable position, pushed to the wall, many would say. Let me take you through the highlights of what this court order said. The court observed that there is no hesitation in our mind that confidence has been shaken. They went on to say that there is no other case better than this one which requires to be transferred out, which requires to be transferred to the CBI. It's a pitiable state of affairs, they said, that the ED was not even given a copy of the FIR unless they were directed to. The court agreed that the ED was valid in making an allegation that the state police was underplaying the entire situation. The court also observed that the accused was arrested on February 29th and he's not an ordinary person. Accused Shahjahan Sheikh held the highest office in the Jilla Parishad. Why then was he still absconding? It was the question that was asked. The accused was fielded as a candidate by the ruling dispensation as well, going on to talk of the links that he has with the ruling party there, which is the TMC. Which is why then the court said that it was imperative for complete justice that case be transferred out of the state and to the CBI. With such scathing observations coming to the fore, can the TMC deny West Bengal police's bias credibly? That's the question we ask on this edition of Plain Speak. Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, joins me on this broadcast. Spokesperson of the TMC, Riju Datta, is with me as well. And I want to begin by asking Riju Datta. Riju Datta, the court in its order today went on to say that they were talking about the case being transferred to the CID there, despite there being a restraint on the West Bengal police by the single bench of the Calcutta High Court. They went on to say that that act of the state police would be sufficient to hold that they were totally biased and every attempt was made to delay the investigation in order to protect the accused who was absconding for more than 50 days.
Look, I'll start off by saying this. A person who was accused of a lot of things was absconding. But what did the West Bengal government do? What did the Home Minister and the Chief Minister do? our elected representatives, as you know, was arrested by West Bengal police, not by ED or by the BSF, because BSF controls the 50-kilometer jurisdiction under which the Sandeshkhali falls. All the accused in the Sandeshkhali, against whom the people of Sandeshkhali has complained, has been brought to book and all are arrested. Now, my question is this. When the West Bengal government and the administration has done their work, when Mamata Banerjee has done their Raj-Dharma, why this overexciting by the High Court? Where today itself we have seen a sitting judge of Calcutta High Court, before his tenure, resigns from his post, openly does a press conference, joins the BJP and says, and I quote, he said, not me, Abhijit Ganguly said, that I was approached by the BJP and I was also in talking terms with them, vice versa. Which means a sitting judge of the Calcutta High Court was talking to the primary opposition party in West Bengal. And we have seen time and again, whether it was Mr. Ranjan Gogoi or Mr. Vishweshwar, who gave the Gyanvapi judgment on the last day of his tenure and then made Lokpal of Lucknow University, that how the judiciary is being influenced by the BJP. My question
That's a big allegation to make, sir. A, there's nothing legally wrong in him hanging up his boots before he retires. Whether he was in touch with the BJP before he decided to resign, while he was giving verdicts that were not favorable to the state government, that is still out to be discussed. And that's not the point of discussion right now. We're talking about this particular order, this particular judge. Are you saying you have no faith in any judges in the Calcutta High Court?
I am only saying this, that when the West Bengal administration has done their part, when they have brought the primary accused to book and all the other accused, irrespective of their political affiliation or religious affiliation, are behind bars, and the CID is doing the investigation, why this overexcitement? And after the stunts by Abhijit
But the police
Ganguly,
didn't do its job. That's the allegation that's being made. The police didn't.
Says who? Says who?
That's what the victims are saying in this case, which is an ED officer, which is also what is mentioned in the High Court order. It says that despite the injury report of one of the victims, that he was hit on the head by a stone, the charge of attempt to murder was not added. The other charges of dacoity and of causing harm to a public servant were omitted from the FIR.
Why was Calcutta High Court, when you mentioned in your introduction, when there was an SIT formed between the central agencies and the state police, why did ED go to the High Court and why did and let me also mention it to your viewers, it was the single bench judge. And then
because the West Bengal police was restrained from taking any action in any of these cases, sir, by that single bench, by that single judge bench, which is why the ED went to court.
Can I finish?
Yes, 30 seconds. Let me get in Charu Pragya as well, but 30 seconds.
Absolutely. Speak. So when this order was there, it was the judge and the Calcutta High Court and the High Court of Calcutta that tied the hands of the West Bengal police on February 24th when my
But it didn't tie your hands to transfer the case to the CID, to the SIT, I beg your pardon. That's exactly what the High Court is asking. Why was it when you were told not to take any action until the next hearing? Even then, it was then transferred to the SIT, which shows there was bias, is what the High Court has observed.
No,
but Charu,
there's something wrong here. There was no SIT probe in this. On February 24th, when my National General Secretary brought this to notice, next day the Calcutta High Court clarified that there is no provisions where we have tied the West Bengal government to arrest him, and within 48 hours he was arrested.
Sure. Okay, so your hands were tied by the High Court. Charu Pragya, the minute their hands were untied by the court, they knew exactly how to track down Sheikh Shahjahan and he was arrested immediately. So I raise questions now.
So let's leave all conjecture on one side and focus on facts and facts alone. I will tell you what West Bengal police has continued to do. The first thing they did was section 144 in Sandeshkhali. It was the court that had to remove it, because what was happening in Sandeshkhali? Women were trying to speak out. The government wanted to suppress that. The second thing, why did ED go to Sandeshkhali? It went with a search warrant. You know what happened? A mob of more than 500 people attacked these ED officials. Where was the police? In hiding. I'll also tell you what the High Court observed when finally they saw Sheikh Shahjahan. They said there are 43 cases pending against the man. 43 cases. He can be kept behind bars for 10 plus years. Another important point to note is that usually West Bengal police has shied away from filing any kind of an FIR against any TMC leader, and I'll give you proof of that. In the post-poll violence, There were actually so many complaints that were made. The Supreme Court has now directed the FIRs need to be filed by the state police. The state police didn't want to file it by themselves. So you imagine this, the victims had to come all the way to Delhi and ask for justice, all the way to Delhi. They could have gotten it done if the state police was actually doing its job. And another important thing, let's look at the speech given in Birbhum today by one TMC leader. He said, Mamta Didi, I am going to gift you 2 Lok Sabha seats from Birbhum with the help of West Bengal police. He says this on record. What does this show? That instead of doing its job, West Bengal police is doing political patronage of criminals. They are not worried about justice. They are not worried about any other thing, and I am thankful that the West Bengal court has taken cognizance of this and decided that this is not the way, because left to the police in West Bengal, I think the next step would have been they would be garlanding Sheikh Shahjahan. That is how he's been treated, like a VVIP coming home. After winning some war, that's how he walked in. We all saw those visuals, and it is shameful that even now you want to defend those kind of actions. So please excuse me, nobody in this country, whether it is citizens of West Bengal, citizens living in any other part like me, the court in West Bengal or the Supreme Court, nobody believes that your police is capable of even filing an FIR. Forget investigating it.
Sure. Before I get you in, Riju Datta, I'll give you your time to rebut, but there is some piece of information that's just trickling in that I want to get in first. This is the NCW's report that has been submitted to the President as far as the sexual assault allegations in Sandesh Khali were concerned. CNN News 18, in fact, has accessed details of what that report contained. It's a 24-page report. Several recommendations were made, including the fact that Sheikh Shahjahan should be arrested and that stringent action should be taken, which has now been done. Ananya, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details. Ananya, we're given to understand several of those recommendations that have been made, some of them implemented, but one recommendation that has been made is also that of President's rule in the state?
Well, definitely the President rule is being sought for in fact the case, and very, very clearly and categorically, more recommendations. I mean, it's a 24-page report as we have gathered from our sources at NCW, and what is very, very clear is that this very, very persistent recommendation that has now been made is with regards to independent probe, a central agency to be probing it, either of the two happening, or a judicial probe to happen in this case. So basically, the NCW is saying that, the West Bengal police is somewhere or the other not competent enough to actually go into the allegations. If you remember, the first inspection by the NCW had revealed that there were allegations against the police official itself, and that's being carved out in this particular report as well, and that's the reason why, in fact, President Rule also has been asked for. In fact, this 24-page report also gives several recommendations, including that of a recommendation for, in fact, stringent action against Sheikh Shahjahan. His arrest was one of the, in fact, recommendations, though the same has now been
he has been arrested. He's out of the party as well. We've done our job, says the TMC, but more recommendations trickling in. For the moment, Ananya, thank you so much for getting us that exclusive input. Riju Datta and Charu Pragya continue to be with us. Riju Datta, before we got in this information, you had a rebuttal to make. Before I ask you my question, if you want to make that rebuttal, go ahead, or...
you can, I'll do the rebuttal, then you can ask me the question.
Sure, go ahead.
See, Charuji mentioned 2-3 things. Charuji spoke about post-poll violence, and Charuji mentioned about 43 FIRs against Sheikh Shahjahan. Now, categorically, let me answer it for your viewers. First, the 43 FIRs that Charuji is mentioning, probably she has not done her homework, was the charge sheet has already been filed in the courts of law. Why did the courts not give a judgment or start a trial on that? Point number one. Point number two, the post-poll violence that she is talking about, and all BJP spokespersons talk about, it was investigated by the CBI. Now, CBI, after investigating the post-poll violence, has, and I'm saying it with full responsibility, has closed shop in Bengal, in Calcutta, and has gone back to Delhi to file their charge sheets. So all these cases are in the court of law. In one case, all charge sheets have been filed. In the second, it is investigated by CBI. Why are you trying to cut a ticket on West Bengal government? We are doing the needful. Did you arrest Bhushan Singh? No. Did you take action on Teni? No. You have given him a ticket again. One of your BJP MP, his MMS got viral. He stepped out. You gave Pawan Singh a ticket in West Bengal, Asansol, one of those misogynist people who makes degrade videos of Bengali women. Now he stepped out after giving a ticket. So you should Talk about your own self, retrospect. Why are you cutting a ticket in West Bengal government? We are doing our job. We are booking criminals. Even if they were our leaders or public representatives, we have arrested them. What have you done? What has BJP done? Please answer that.
So the allegation, Charu Pragya, against the BJP is that the BJP can't have high moral ground. You can't act holier than thou, because there are many like Sheikh Shahjahan, perhaps in the BJP as well, that the BJP has not acted against.
You know, that is their defense. They want to compare an apple to a Karela and they think they'll get away with it. But to put things in perspective and for Mr. Datta's benefit, Sheikh Shahjahan was not even suspended from the party. First of all, he should not be suspended. He should be kicked out forever. Suspension of 6 years also took them 55 days. But it didn't take 55 days for Uttam Sardar. Those who are dispensable to them are kicked out immediately. But there are certain leaders who are protected by their entire dispensation. And that's exactly why he was allowed to be a land grabber. He was allowed to be a drug peddler. He was allowed to be a systematic exploiter of women sexually. And he got away with it. He got away with it till the point the High Court said, let the ED and CBI do their job. That's when the police got rattled. The police thought that if he falls in the hands of the CBI, they'll not be able to save him and treat him like a VIP anymore. So might as well bring him out of hiding, pretend we are arresting him, even though he's walking in like a king in our corridors. That's the truth of TMC, and it is not Charu quoting anybody wrongly, sir. Let's remember that a grandmother who was over 65 years of age had also come to Delhi and asked for justice, and that's when your police registered even her FIR.
So there are several reasons why questions are being asked of the state government, why there are doubts on the conduct of the police and the state government. You can't say we don't believe the NCW, they are acting at the behest of the BJP. The courts are being over enthusiastic in trying to give their verdict or their observations. The women there also are BJP people posing as victims. Do you have faith in anybody making these allegations besides yourself?
Let me, rather than going into what about you, let me state facts to you. How many women, Poonam, on your show or on other national televisions have come out and said that, you know, they were tortured by in different ways? Do you know, till now, when Shahjahan is not there, Shahjahan is being booked. There are several complaints, and I agree, I'm not here to, defend Shahjahan. There are several complaints of land grabs. Till now, 170 lands have been given back to their rightful owners. The people who have complained that their money has been taken, their money has been returned by the government.
Sure.
But till now, only 2 complaints of sexual abuse. Only 2 till now, till today.
But we've spoken to several of them who have come out and said that we wanted to go to the police and our FIRs weren't registered. Would you disregard those testimonies as well? Which is why I asked, do you believe in anybody apart from yourself and your state machinery who everybody seems to have a question about?
Poonam, again I am saying, forget the police.
Why should we forget the police? The police is supposed to act. The police's conduct is under question here.
No, I am answering CNN News18. My police has done the needful.
Sure, the police has done the needful. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to leave it at that. Charu Pragya and Riju Datta, thank you so much for joining us here on this edition. It's a wrap from my side here.